Greetings, dear viewers. In this short segment, I want to tell you about complete madness in the motorcycle world. The name of this madness is Moto-Chariots. Anyway, the steady steel Moto-Chariots.
Only with stylish chariots instead of wet ones. And what's more, they are progressing.
Now that I've done the research, I have only two questions left. Why isn't this popular now? And why weren't there Moto-Chariots in Mad Max? Make yourself comfortable. Enjoy the show. Let's go back 100 years to the 1920s. An amazing time. People believed that a world war would never happen again. Science seemed like benevolent magic that would soon solve all problems. And dying for sport was easier than going to a bar. Men competed in battles with anything that seemed spectacular to them, and any, even the most ridiculous idea, immediately found both a sponsor and a test subject. When crashing diesel race cars became boring and even vulgar, people of the 1920s turned their attention to motorcycles. Damn, even Lawrence of Arabia himself, if you didn't know, crashed on a motorcycle. And his death became the reason for studying motorcycle accidents, head injuries resulting from these events, and the development of motorcycle helmets. But that's a story for another time. Chariot racing was a popular spectacle even back in the Roman Empire. Charioteers raced around the hippodromes in their chariots to the roar of fans, who eagerly placed bets on their favorite athlete. Fights even broke out sometimes. Once in Byzantium, a brawl between fans escalated into a political uprising. In general, the Romans and Byzantines really knew how to have fun. At the end of the 19th century, other types of transportation appeared: cars and motorcycles. They raced those too. According to the magazine Transport Mechanics, the first motorcycle chariot in history appeared in 1922 as the creation of several craftsmen from the USA. The guys whose names have been lost to history, fueled purely by enthusiasm, sawed a wine barrel in half, made a platform, put it on wheels, and harnessed a motorcycle to it. One person drove the motorcycle, while the other, dressed in a toga, pretended to be a Roman charioteer. Back then, the idea didn't really catch on. Yes, it was just fooling around, but in 1925, after the release of the silent film masterpiece Ben-Hur, motorcycle chariots became a fashionable phenomenon and stayed at the peak of popularity until the mid-1930s. At first, they were more of a sham. In the front of the motorcycle sat a real racer, and on the platform at the back was a charioteer in a toga, who only pretended to be the one controlling the chariot. However, this couldn't last long, and an engineer modified the design to eliminate the rider on the motorcycle. That's when one of those inventions appeared that made the early 20th century such a crazy time. It was a moto-chariot, where the driver was truly a charioteer, and the motorcycle, or even two, acted as the horses pulling the carriage. Of course, soon there were races on these monsters. Naturally, bets appeared right away, along with their own league of racers, their own stars, and the first brutal crashes and injuries. The sport turned out to be so dangerous that even people from the 1930s said, "Wait a minute, this is pure suicide." And these, just so you know, are the same people who saw nothing wrong with climbing into a barrel and going down Niagara Falls in it, or speeding up on a motorcycle with a parachute and jumping off a cliff. So, by the end of the 1930s, people started to forget about motorcycle chariots. But that's understandable because a much more dangerous entertainment was coming up, the Second World War. But right before their decline, the races experienced their heyday.
No rider becomes an expert overnight. First, you learn from experienced riders. Need help? Investing can work the same way. Meet eToro, a multi-assets investment platform where you can follow top investors, view their portfolios, and even copy their trades automatically. Join real-time market conversations with ideas, trends, and questions as events unfold. And all of that connects to a wide range of assets, including stocks, crypto, ETFs, and more, all in one platform. eToro is a regulated service with over 40 million users across more than 75 countries. Start investing with eToro and get $50 worth of stock when you deposit $200 or more. Click the link in the description or scan the QR code and get your $50 worth of stock now. Join the largest social investments platform and learn from the pros. Now, back to the video.
At the police carnival in 1936 in Sydney, motorcycle chariots became the main part of the show and caused a sensation. The peak of the madness was chariots harnessed to as many as 4 motorcycles. It's even stranger that decades later, George Miller, an Australian, never thought to include them in the story of Mad Max. Imagine Max Rokotansky fighting a gang of motorcycle charioteers in togas. For 50 years, motorcycle chariots were forgotten. No one broke chariots anymore, except for guests riding in circles in silly togas. Now, motorcycle chariots are the domain of enthusiasts. There are no professional competitions, but shows featuring them are sometimes held. For example, in 2011, the hosts of the TV show Top Gear rode chariots pulled by scooters. And in 2012, there was a true revival of the tradition. Professional wrestler Buff Bagwell tried to create a motorcycle chariot league and found a group of enthusiasts in America who got excited about the idea and started riding these monsters on the country's highways. Let's hope that motorcycle chariots are not a thing of the past and that someday they'll become a sport we watch in bars, cheering for our favorite teams. That's the story of motorcycle chariot madness, and that's all from me. As always, this has been Cross Moto. Thank you very much for your attention and see you next time.